Hi.
Morning, evening,
Morning.
good afternoon, depending on where you are. That's what we are doing now.
You got that right. I'm excited about today.
I am too. I am.
Estate planning with attorney Leavy. Gonna be
Yes.
epic. Lots of good information, huh?
No, I am having a little issue to get started. I'm trying to make sure that my Facebook page is in the system and it's working. I'm just having a little technical difficulties here. Continue. I don't think I want to do this right now.
Then don't do it.
Chama,
Yeah.
what's going on?
I'm here.
Are you ready?
I am ready. I'm
I
excited.
am actually excited myself. We have that's state attorney in the building.
No.
Huh?
Not a state attorney, an attorney.
Attorney.
State attorney. I heard what you said. Estate. Okay. Attorney.
Yeah, come on, the state attorney. You see, that's the thing when you're not Jamaican enough. I mean, fully. When you're not fully Jamaican, these are the things that happen. People just don't get the thing that's going on. But
you know what? I applied for my citizenship, and I don't think I want to be a part of that anymore. I think I need to rescind my application because I am so tired of being rejected. It's just by uno Jamaicans. Yeah, I'm over it. You understand?
Chama, are you talking Jamaican?
No, I'm not talking Jamaican. I want no part of it anymore. I decided.
Sound like you're talking Jamaican.
I'm washing my hands of it. Yeah.
It sounds like you're talking Jamaican.
No, I'm not talking Jamaican, and it's called talking patois.
Patois.
Jamaican. Jamaican. But listen, in our midst today, we are going to have none other than attorney Maria Leavy coming to us and dropping some serious knowledge about estate planning. I truly hope our audience comes in, not only come in, but share, like up the things, and pass it on to others. She is a powerhouse, very good at what she does. But I probably should say that when she's here. But yeah, Attorney Leavy is coming and joining us today and imparting wisdom and knowledge to us about estate planning.
I noticed though, Charma, I don't think we're streaming on the meds. There is something going on here, and I am not seeing this on the meds, which is not so nice right now. I don't know what's going on. It is.
So where is it? Just on YouTube and your channel?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on the meds, and I don't know why.
That's probably why Diana Irons isn't in there, because she always comes on the meds.
Are you able to see it right now?
Am I able to see what, the meds?
Yeah.
Let me go on and see if I see it.
It's just very backward.
I see it on yours. Let me go on the meds. No, it is not live on the meds.
And this is where I have a little problem, and I cannot see why you are live. It's saying I'm live.
But you're not live on the meds, because I just went on the meds and it's not on there. It's live on your page.
Go to newsfeed, visit center, go back.
Besides that, how was your week? Sunday was awesome. We had a great guest on Sunday.
Great. Sunday was like on fire, if you ask me. But I am not so happy because I'm a little bit not so happy with the absence of the meds, and I cannot say what I did wrong. I wasn't in the meds messing around or anything, and
Mhm.
now I realize that we're not streaming on it. So
Mm.
which is fine. All right, let's just get into it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have in our midst no other than uh, the lady of the hour. Unfortunately, we are not streaming on the midst. I don't know why, but I'm gonna try to figure it out
Mhm.
while we go along. Um,
Mhm.
so backstage is the lady of the hour. I'm gonna let you take the opportunity, Charmer, to just introduce her.
I am
Okay.
really excited, like I said earlier, that attorney Maria Levy is in the building. She is gracing us with her wonderful presence and going to impart some wonderful wisdom and knowledge about estate planning and the importance of having an estate plan in place. Um, and you know what? The reason why it's important is not only for you, but for your loved ones. Very, very important for us to
Right.
have it.
Right.
Some people don't know about it, probably never heard about it, and that's why you are here. That's why we are glad that you are here, Attorney Levy. So take it away.
Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Thank you for
Good evening. Good evening.
thank you for having me tonight. It's nice to be here. And
Yes.
this is a very important topic.
Mhm.
It can be difficult for some people to talk about estate planning. One,
Mhm.
they get overwhelmed by the term of, what it is and what it entails. And then sometimes they believe it can be, very difficult, a hard process to go through, or in some cases they feel like it could be intimidating.
Mhm.
And I think the message that I would like to convey is it doesn't have to be that way. It can be a very
Mhm.
straightforward and simple process to go through. And it really will bring you tremendous peace of mind to both you and your family members to have a proper estate plan in place.
Mhm.
And
Great.
I'll go ahead and go through the details of what that all entails when you're ready for me to do so.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But before we get into it, I just want to hear a little bit about you. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I've been in Florida for about 27 years now. I originally grew up in upstate New York. So days like today in Florida, where it's a little bit cooler, do feel cold to me, even though I grew up in upstate New York. I've been an attorney for 19 years now. I started out in working for bigger law firms, and I've had my own law firm in place now since 2016. And I
Oh,
do
wow.
focus my practice on estate planning and also real estate matters.
Mhm.
Oh, great, great, great.
And
Wow,
thankfully, she's my estate attorney.
wow,
Thankfully.
wow. And so she like do like yeah, will live in trust and all that.
She actually did my living trust. And when I tell you it was such an easy, streamlined process, she sent me some documents and she said, I want you to look these over. And it took no time at all. No
Oh,
time at all. But that being said, uh, who was your mentor?
So my mentor was an attorney named Carrie Podesta, and Carrie was very inspiring, and she really instilled in me, the ability not only to practice law in a brilliant way, but to be able to communicate with clients in a way that didn't, you know, in a way where it was very easy for clients to understand what
Mm-hmm.
we were explaining to them and how to solve problems in a very pragmatic way, not always to resort to, necessarily what the other side is doing or, the most aggressive means possible, but really problem solving and doing what's best for your clients. So she was very inspiring in that matter, not only being a brilliant legal mind, but also teaching some very great ways of really engaging with people and clients.
so let me just be kind of ask you this right now. So she is would be the one that how did you get into law? I mean, is she the one that motivated you to do so?
So my parents tell me that I ran around telling everybody that I wanted to be a lawyer from pretty much the time I was in elementary school, and
Oh,
I pretty
really?
much and I pretty much argued my way through my entire life. So I think that was kind of always in me to be a lawyer. I didn't actually meet my mentor until I had already been out of law school and graduated law school and had been practicing for a few years.
So wait a minute. You said that, so you must have known someone who was an attorney as a child, why you said that that's what you wanted to do.
I did not. I did not actually have any attorneys in my life at all. The only experience I had had with an attorney was I went one day to the district attorney's office, I think when I was in middle school, and I did a shadowing in middle school. But I think by that time I had already made up my mind that, lawyer is my career and that's what I'm going to do.
That's great. So tell us though, my audience and uh, uh, Charma and I, how what makes you what is a state where am I? I'm a little bit confused. There's one side that we're not streaming on, and it's very distracted. So, anyways, what is state planning?
So, estate planning really is the process of going through and setting up a plan as to who you want to handle all of your personal matters and who you would like your assets to go to. So, it's a matter of if you become incapacitated, designating a plan for who you want to handle everything for you, setting that up in writing, and also then putting specific documents in place. That would be a will, a trust, power of attorney, healthcare surrogate. And I can go into detail about what those specific forms are in just a few minutes. But it's also about, sitting down, reviewing beneficiaries on different assets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people would think, but I don't have anything to go in a will, or I don't have anything to go in a living trust. But if you're working and you're getting some sort of life insurance from your work or whatever, there are beneficiaries. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Correct. Right. So when we talk about a person's estate, we're talking about really everything they own. So that could be personal belongings, like that may be, jewelry or furnishings in their home. It may be real estate. It also could be bank accounts. We're also talking about things like life insurance policies or stocks or other investment accounts that an individual might have. And again, not everybody is going to have the same amount or of assets, but everyone still needs to have a basic plan in place so that decision making is not left to their beneficiaries or to their loved ones who are trying to go through the grieving process after a person passes away. Another example is if a person becomes ill and becomes hospitalized, they may need certain documents in place so that a person can make decisions for them while they are just unable or incapable of making those decisions just because they're unable to do so while being ill. So it's really considering not only planning for assets but decision making purposes as well.
Mm. Wow. So is that something that, okay, when you say about the health surrogate, is that something that you have to do in a trust, or is that something separate, or when do you decide to do that?
So Carla, if I may use you as an example, I think that would be the easiest way. So when we initially met, basically we sat down and we talked about a list of kind of the things that you owned, and we went through everything. And then from that point, I made, a recommendation as to the documents that you needed to have. And then we prepare a package of documents all at one time. So everything is getting done at the same time. So the healthcare surrogate, where you're naming somebody to make medical decisions for you if you're unable to make those decisions yourself, is basically getting done at the same time as you're setting up a will and or a trust. The same thing goes for a power of attorney, which is for financial decision making. If a person needs to have, somebody make financial decisions for them because they're unable to do so, they would set up that document at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I really like what you're saying and what you're doing, because the truth is, in our community, I don't want to go race, but in our community, a lot of people don't comfortable thinking about what happened after that. They're not comfortable talking about their passing. But I think it is important for people to set that up, because what happened, it allows people to grieve,
Mm-hmm.
your passing, and do what they have to do, rather than to deal with the confusion because you did not have a plan in place. So
Mm-hmm.
it is very important. So no matter what you have, or no matter how little or how big it is, there might be somebody expecting it and somebody else thinking that it's theirs, and it could
Mm-hmm.
cause issues and even family problems. A lot of family problems cause from not having plans in place. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So, first of all, I want to just say hi to our audience. Hi, Paulette. Hi, Mom. Hi, Nonin. Is that without
No, that's my friend's wife.
Nani? And then Alton. Hi.
I'll turn
Thank you
her up.
so much. And guys, if you are not saying anything, we do not know that you're here, and we're just seeing you on Facebook. We know that we have people on YouTube as well. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. But back to you, Attorney Leavy. Thank you so much again for being here. What is the difference between a will and a living trust? And do you need both? And if so, why?
That's a great question. So a will is a document that you set out, basically who you want your assets to go to, and then you also designate an executor or personal representative who basically is in charge of distributing those assets to your beneficiaries. In order for assets to pass under a will, they have to get admitted to the court system and go through the probate process. So the difference between a will and a trust is something you also set up now during your lifetime. You have the ability to transfer certain assets to it now. It's fully revocable and you can amend it at any point in time. You also designate in there beneficiaries, same as you would a will. And you designate a trustee who is similar to a personal representative or an executor to handle those decisions for you. Only the difference with a will versus a trust is with a trust and transferring assets per a trust, there's no probate process. There's no court intervention. So you're taking that whole aspect out of it and thereby making it a lot easier to get those assets transferred to your beneficiaries. Mm-hmm. Another added benefit to having a trust in place is if you have a trust and you become disabled or incapacitated, whoever you've designated as your alternate trustee can step in and manage your assets in the trust for you. So that's an additional benefit of the trust. I think it's beneficial for someone to have, if you have a trust, you still need to have a will. But in most cases, everyone at least needs to have a will, but it's mostly beneficial to have the trust to try and avoid probate if possible.
And wow. What is probate?
So probate is the process where a will gets admitted to the court system. And in Florida and Palm Beach County, right now, depending on an estate, that can take several months for an estate to be administered. It can vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. So, for example, in New York or another state, that process might take longer and be much more expensive than it is in Florida. But it's where basically the judge and the court oversee the distribution of assets. They require a lot of paperwork and forms to be signed. The personal representative is required to have an attorney. So it can be an expensive process and a timely process, take a lot of time that's not necessary. As opposed to having the trust in place, you avoid probate entirely.
Wow. So let me answer this. It might be a dumb question, but is there age limit, or when do people get involved in, doing like a living trust, or
And a will.
will? What age?
At any time. So I have clients that vary in age from their early 20s
What?
to I just had a 93-year-old client come in the other day. I would of course encourage people to come in well before they reach the age of 93. Um, but any time is a good time to try and get your documents in order, or at least try and start the process of setting up a preliminary plan.
That's when you start accumulating stuff, or it doesn't matter if you start accumulating assets.
Correct, right. Because it's more than just about assets. It's about, designating a person to make medical decisions and financial decisions. So it's not necessarily just about the accumulation of assets. It's also about naming those people to make those important decisions for you when you're unable to do so.
So it could be like a medical decision, like for example, you are
Coming
you're in life support
incapacitated.
or something of that sort. Then you would have that designated person to make the decision.
Correct. So that document is called a healthcare surrogate, and you would appoint a medical surrogate to make those decisions for you if you're unable to consent to medical decision making yourself. That person would have full authority to communicate with physicians, medical staff, basically do anything on your own that you would be able to do, but you can't otherwise consent because of your condition.
Wow.
What was very helpful to me when I decided to get my living trust and my will together, I remember you telling me to list out all of my assets. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I have a house. And you're like, well, you have jewelry and you have a retirement and you have bank accounts and you have all of these things. And what I wound up doing is my house, all of my bank accounts, my investment account, my retirement account, all of it now is under Carla Irons Living Trust. And she's the one that told me to do that. My jewelry, my expensive jewelry it's written all in the trust as well, documented in there. And another thing that she told me to do is make sure that I have the trustee and then the secondary it was. So I had to choose two people. So I have two of my cousins who in my passing, they have a copy of it. Their name is down on this document on my living trust, and they have a copy of it. If something happens to me, they know my wishes. And then if something happens to my one cousin, my other cousin has it, and she has their name and their information as well.
And in addition, we have a copy in our office as well. So if for some reason they can't access it, we also have copies of those documents. Mm-hmm. And I think it was really important, Carla, for you to point out that it was a matter of going through and, kind of thinking about all of the things that you own that you may not have even realized that you need to designate to go to certain individuals. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the planning process, is really sitting down and figuring out, oh, wait, did I work at a job 15 or 20 years ago? Maybe I still have an old 401k or an old IRA there that, I don't even realize whether or not I ever set a beneficiary on there. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's something that would then need to be, updated. Mm-hmm. So yes, it's all about doing that and then determining, should all of these things go into a trust? Should designated beneficiaries be added? Or if there's real estate, looking at the title to the real estate, is that going to be something that goes into the trust? Correct.
Mm-hmm. Now, suppose, the reason why it's important to check who your beneficiaries are, because when I was working at my company, we had, first of all, they gave us life insurance. Second, I had a pension. And I had to designate a beneficiary for those pensions. Now, suppose you get divorced. A lot of times you forget to change who your beneficiaries are. You don't want somebody who was a scoundrel to you to get something from you in the event of your passing. How often would you suggest that we update our beneficiaries? Especially like in my case where I don't have kids.
Yeah, I think it's important. That's probably something that's good to look at annually, to just make sure that everything is updated, that contact information is also updated. You know, your beneficiaries can move, phone numbers change, contact information changes. So just to reach out to your financial entities and make sure that everything is current, at least on an annual basis.
So, do you have a system just in case somebody passed, nobody reach out to you, nobody saying anything? Do you have a system annually that you checked on them, or to see like a wellness system or something like that? How do you know if, for example, the person passed away in a different state? Nobody says anything, nobody knows anything. How then you would know to reach out, or how what system you have in place, if there's any?
So typically we would get contacted by whoever has been appointed in the documents. So whoever has been appointed as either an executor or an alternate trustee, they would then reach out to us. And sometimes it doesn't happen right away. Sometimes it can take quite some time for them to figure out, you know, were the documents in place, and if they were, who was appointed. So sometimes that process can take a while, but eventually they would reach out, you know, to our office for assistance in figuring out what the next steps are in distributing those assets to the beneficiaries.
Wow, that is indeed a lot of information. It's just that, to be honest, it's not really a comfortable topic for me personally. I'm one of them shy guys, but I realize that I have some things, as it relates to asset. I might have a few things that I was thinking even before we thought about bringing you on the show. For the past 3 weeks, I've been thinking about making a preparation for, in case of an untimely passing. I see where my brother had passed untimely. We did not, nobody was, looking for it. It just happened suddenly. So I was thinking about it, and I think I'm gonna put some system in place. I have some things in place, but I'm gonna have to probably talk to you a little bit more to see what direction you could guide me. So let me ask you this: do somebody have to literally come into your office to make this arrangement?
No, an in-person appointment is not required. Generally, we do set up an initial appointment either via phone or via Zoom or via Google, whatever is convenient for the client. They're welcome to come in person if they'd like to. But that's the point in time at which we, fill out an initial questionnaire or sheet, which Carla was mentioning, which basically, tries to get some of that preliminary information, and we're determining if you have beneficiaries, and just basically going through, the fact finding process. And then at that point, that's when we would advise you on the type of documents that you should have in place. And once that's done, then we would prepare drafts of the documents, send them out to you for review. So you don't have to come in for that process either. We mail those or email them to you. You go through them at your convenience. You let us know if everything looks okay, if it's what you were looking to do with regard to, the persons you wanted to designate and all of their information is correct. And then once you get back to us, you would just come in for a final appointment to execute your documents in front of two witnesses and a notary to make them legally valid.
Oh, great. So how do our audience reach you?
Well, what I'm going to do, I'm definitely, after the show, I'm going to put her card up on our website, on the Meds website. But her telephone number, her direct line, would you prefer it for me to do your office or your direct line?
On my office number.
Okay. 561. Could you type that up, prime time? 561.
Work to do.
561.
623
2576. And guys, I'm going to have her card up on the Meds on my channel and also on Dennis's
Penny.
channel as well.
Yeah.
Attorney Leavy. And another question that I wanted to ask. So if I were to, because I already have my probate, not excuse me, my living trust and my will in place. I can't tell you how many people, how many cases that I went on when I was working where people died and they had no will, no living trust or anything like that. That's called that's dying intestate. Could you just explain a little bit to our audience why that's problematic?
Yes. So basically, what that means is that a person has passed away without any documentation in place. And what that means is that all of their assets and all of their property is going to pass according to what the Florida statutes say. And then the Florida statutes are going to designate how those assets get distributed, whether or not it's the person you wanted to go to. Now, in the case of a married couple, it would go to the spouse according to law. Or if there's minor children, a portion would go to minor children. But where it gets complicated is when you're dealing with blended families, when you have second marriages, or in the case where you have people who are either not married or don't have children. The prime example I can give of this is I had an estate where a person passed away. They did not have a spouse or children, and they had two siblings. 6 months later, one of the siblings passed away. Another 6 months later, the final sibling passed away. None of them had children or spouses. They would have all inherited one another's estates. However, they found out that there was a half sibling that none of them knew about.
Oh.
And that half sibling, because none of them had estate documents in place, ended up inheriting the assets from 3 separate estates. He had never had a relationship with them. He didn't know who they were. But because of the intestacy code of Florida and because they did not have documents in place, he benefited entirely from that.
Wow.
So that is a prime, again, that's an extreme example. But that's what can happen when documents are not prepared.
So if I were to purchase, I'm wanting right now to purchase another piece of property. Do I have to come back into you to get that property into the living trust? How does that work?
No, you don't have to. So once you set up the revocable living trust, you can sell assets out of the trust, you can accumulate assets in the name of the trust, and you can amend it at any point in time. So when you enter the contract for the purchase of the property, you would just enter it as trustee of your trust, and then you would make sure that the attorney handling the closing prepares the deed so that it goes into you as trustee of your trust.
Got it. Okay.
Wow.
And so we have your information up. Another question I would like to for you to share with our audience: how would roughly what would it cost to do something like this, or is there like a scale? How does that work?
Yeah. So generally, it's on a flat fee basis, and what that means is that we charge for a package of documents. So that would be the revocable trust, the will, power of attorney, healthcare surrogate, guardian, and then if we're transferring real estate to the trust, any deeds to the trust.
Okay.
And then so we charge a flat fee and not hourly. Many attorneys charge hourly, but we found that it's more effective to just charge a flat rate for the package of documents. So depending on what documents we're preparing and whether or not we're doing it for a single individual or a married couple, services can start at $750 and go up from there for the package of documents.
Oh, great. That's a lot of information and very important information. Like I said, a lot of us don't take that seriously, but when after the passing of a loved one, there sometimes
Unexpectedly, yeah.
especially unexpectedly. So there is no age limit. If you start accumulating asset I think it's very important that you contact um, um, that attorney Leavy for for putting some system in place for life. I mean, for the remainder of your family members who were left behind, and not only that, you could encourage a family member, parent, parent, uncle or somebody like that, because a lot of these people sometimes they don't have family members, and you might be close to them, and you might be doing all this to them, and something happened unexpectedly and system was not put in place, then it causes confusion.
Writing
So
about
it's
assets.
very important that you get into it. Oh, Attorney Leavy, it is indeed a pleasure. You had shared some vital information with us today. It will be up on our Facebook page. Unfortunately, we're not streaming on one of our Facebook page, which would have grasped some audience, but we will share it with them with that page afterwards. Currently, just we're streaming on Sutherland TV, and of course, Dennis Sutherland Facebook page. But we'll share it on all the other platform, and we will definitely put the information out there and continue to encourage people to do what is right for their family.
I have one last question for you, attorney. So if I were to inherit, let's say a loved one passed away and I wound up, they had a living trust. Or no, they had just a will. And they left me, say, $200,000. They did not have a living trust. They only had a will. How much taxes would I have to pay on that $100,000?
On the $200,000 that was distributed to you,
Yes.
do you know what type? So, with the $200,000 that you received, was it just from a bank account, or was it from some type of other asset, or a combination of
It
assets?
was just from it was just from their let's say investment account. I was the beneficiary of the investment account, but they did not have, they had a will, they did not have a trust. And I want to know what would be the tax implications on me, tax impact from them having a will or a living trust, or does it matter?
So I don't think it's going to matter for you in that particular instance for your taxes. But I don't want to, give tax advice because I'm not a CPA.
Okay.
Right.
So I don't want to, do anything that I'm, not supposed to do.
Okay.
But yes, it can make a difference for the person who has left you the money and their particular estate, because there's certain planning that can be done for the individual who is leaving the assets, and the reduction of taxes. And then depending on how they're leaving it to you, there's also ways to reduce those taxes as well with proper planning.
And the reason I ask is because when my grandmother passed away, and I was a beneficiary of her trust. I don't remember paying any type of inheritance tax on the money that she left me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess she had answered all the questions, the important question. And like I said, we will share it with our audience. And of course, I'm asking our audience to share this live. Unfortunately, we not able to stream on the meds tonight, but we are indeed streaming on YouTube. Guys, I want you to go over to YouTube and subscribe to Sutherland TV. At Sutherland TV, that's where you should subscribe, and send on and encourage people to be a part of the meds as well. Send on the friend request, and both the meds and Dennis Sutherland Facebook page. Just send on the friend request. We will accept them as long as we know it's legit.
And Attorney Leavy's information will be both on the meds and on Sutherland TV, where she can be reached.
Attorney Maria Leavy. It is indeed a pleasure, ma'am. Time has well spent. We went over by 10 minutes, actually 11 minutes. We usually run for like half an hour. But with that information that you had given us, it was so much and we run over time. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I just want to take the time out, ma'am, to say thank you for stopping by.
Thank
It
you
has
so much.
indeed a pleasure. And there was some vital information that was passed here and we can share with people that needs to know. And of course, this is actually a life-changing moment for me because I was thinking of it, but you just put some things in perspective that going to drive me to move a little bit faster with my plan. Thank you very much, attorney.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Feel
All
free
right.
to reach out to me with any questions or concerns.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And you are always invited on the meds.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
All the
Take
best.
care.
Blessings. All right. So there you have it. Attorney Maria Leavy stopped by and give us some information. You know, a lot of people scare away from these topics. A lot of people don't want to talk about it, but it's very, 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 very important that we deal with it. Because some people named Paulette Rose or whatever them call themselves going to tell me, you know, to put
That's it.
me. But look, no man, don't even go there, because you know how things are already. But I was before I even get any further. Did you actually put me on your living trust?
No, but you know what? I need to. I need
Okay.
to. Especially now that, we're business partners and everything. I need to, you know what I'm saying? You know what? Listen, not only that, very important. I've been wanting to bring her on for the longest time, but not only that's important, we are also going to have someone else come from Dignity, and that's a whole policy that you can purchase for burial. I've had my policy for the
You're really
longest
talking
time.
debt burial?
I've had my policy for years. And I also added another rider on my policy because I travel as much. I carry the card in my wallet. In the event of my passing, they have to come and retrieve my body from wherever I am and bring it back to the United States.
I know you're
It's
not
already
Jamaican.
paid for mine and my mom's.
I know you're not Jamaican. But anyways, I was at when I went to the funeral home when my brother passed away.
Mhm.
And I went to the funeral home. I saw a friend of mine at the funeral home with his mom.
Mhm.
With his mom. The mom was buying her burial spot.
My mom has hers. My mom has hers. And let me tell you something. It is better to have that in place. We think it's taboo. Guys, it's inevitable. We're going to die. We are going to die.
You can go on with your dead business. Me nah come there, sir. I am not gonna do that.
Well, listen, it's a peace of mind. And not only that, when I got my living trust and my will documents together, she told me, Carla, make sure you go and you buy a fireproof case. I have a fireproof case. My trustee and my alternative know what that case looks like and know where it is in my home. Those documents are in my home in a fireproof case. Both of them know exactly where it is. What the case looks like and what it is.
I wonder that lady answer. I tell me them foolish, sir. Oh, the mamas. What she talking about?
You are going to die.
Mamas, blessings, Chama. It was indeed a pleasure. And to be honest, it is.
Guys, thank you so much for coming and sharing time with us. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to come here, and we got some valuable information. And this is what we plan on doing on a regular basis. Is on Sunday, it's going to be more spiritual based, but on Wednesdays, we want to give you information that you can use.
So yeah, and we will from time to time we'll talk to the kids because we ain't leaving the kids out. We will talk to the kids, but we have so many people wanted to be in our midst right now. But guess what? Get
What?
ready. Sunday morning. Sunday morning is gonna be on fire. Let me tell you something.
Oh,
Dante
oh.
Johnson,
Yeah.
a minister Dante Johnson will
Mhm.
be in the building on Sunday morning, Jamaica time at 8:30. No, Dante Johnson is a young man.
Mhm.
I'm not going to give away his bio because I sent it to you, but
Mhm.
it's a young man who had been in ministry all his life.
Mhm.
Now, I know this
Oh,
man
at an early age.
at a very early age, but I don't know. It's one of the most powerful young men that I've ever witnessed with my eyes. This is indeed a great show coming up on Sunday. And for next week, we will be talking to no other than a friend of mine.
Mhm.
He would be disappointed if he hear me said I'm his friend. A brother of mine. His name is Tony Leavy. No,
Mhm.
this guy is gonna tell us his story. This guy is coming from nowhere. From
It's a
nowhere.
true rags to riches story. It's a true
Right.
rags
The
to
richest
riches
story.
story.
Guys,
Self-made.
open
Self-made.
your mind.
No one left
Open
him
your mind.
money.
Oh,
Self-made.
I'm telling you, open your mind and get ready for next Wednesday. We'll be
Yeah.
having no other than Good to Go in the building telling us his story, how he get to where it's at. Yo, hear me? It's over.
Yeah.
It's well said. Guys, have a good night. Like and share up the thing. Make
Bye,
sure
guys. See
you
you
get the
on
word out.
Sunday.
Chama,
Yeah.
listen. All right, we talk. Peace out. I'm gonna try to resolve this issue that I just come across. All
All
right.
right.
All right. Blessings. Later.
Later. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye, guys.